Welcome back to Clearing the Clouds, the podcast where we believe that even the smallest changes can lead to powerful transformations on your journey to well-being. I'm Lance Labno, your host, and today we're peeling back the layers of something that affects us all: struggle. Let's be honest, life throws curveballs that can leave us feeling isolated, overwhelmed, or just plain stuck. But what if those moments of hardship were actually seeds for growth, for resilience, for connection? This episode is about discovering how adversity can be our most valuable teacher. Think about a time when life didn't go as planned, when that job fell through, or that relationship didn't work out, or a goal you had felt out of reach. In those moments, it's hard to imagine strength growing from struggle. But so often, when we look back, we realize that those times are what made us who we are. Today, we'll unpack how setbacks can sometimes be the exact setups we need to become stronger, wiser, and more connected. By the end of this episode, you'll have a new way of looking at challenges, a reframing tool that can turn difficult experiences into sources of strength. We'll dive into two transformative theories that will help us understand our journey from individual empowerment to a place of shared empathy. You'll hear powerful stories from listeners who found strength in struggle, and we'll end with actionable steps you can start using today. But first, let's introduce two ideas to guide our conversation: spiral dynamics and integral theory, frameworks that will help us see our struggles in a new light. Just by tuning in, you're already showing a willingness to turn adversity into strength. Whether you're facing a challenge right now or want to prepare yourself for whatever comes next, you're taking an active role in your growth. So let's dive in with open minds and open hearts and discover how we can all find strength in our struggles. To set the stage, let's talk about something called spiral dynamics. Imagine a journey of growth that moves in a spiral, not just for individuals, but for communities and societies too. Spiral dynamics explains how our perspectives evolve as we move through different levels of consciousness, each represented by colors. In the orange level, the focus is on personal success, innovation, and self-empowerment. It's that mindset that says, "I can do this on my own. I've got this." But as we grow, we begin to transition to the green level, where we start valuing the collective, prioritizing empathy, social responsibility, and shared well-being. In today's episode, we're exploring that transition from orange to green, from self-reliance to collective growth. How do we take those first steps toward connecting with others in meaningful ways? Integral theory, developed by Ken Wilber, offers us another layer of insight, a holistic map of human experience. Picture 4 quadrants representing different dimensions of our lives. One of these, the lower left quadrant, focuses on our shared experiences, the culture, and connections that give life meaning, especially in times of hardship. When we're facing adversity, it's often not enough to rely solely on inner strength. The support we receive from others, the empathy we share, and the community we build can all play a huge role in helping us rise again. Today, we're tapping into this idea of collective resilience, how our shared struggles can lead to shared strength. Think of adversity as a fierce storm sweeping through your life. At first, it might seem like the downpour is washing away everything you've worked so hard to build. It feels overwhelming, like standing in the middle of a tempest with nothing to hold on to. But here's the thing about storms. They bring rain, and rain nourishes the soil. Just like a tree sends its roots deeper into the earth during a storm to find stability and water, our toughest times force us to dig deeper into our inner strength, resilience, and resourcefulness. In nature, it's the trees that face the most wind that grow the strongest, most robust roots. What if we could look at our challenges not as destructive floods, but as the rain that feeds the roots of our growth? Today's episode is all about reframing our struggles, not as setbacks that hold us back, but as setups that prepare us for greater heights. When we learn to see adversity as part of our growth process, we stop fearing the storm and start using it to nourish our own development. Let's break this down a bit further. When we first encounter a challenge, our instinct is often to go into survival mode. This is where the orange mindset of spiral dynamics kicks in. We push forward with grit, relying on our own strength and self-reliance. It's a powerful response that can get us through the initial shock of a difficult situation, but it's not always sustainable in the long run. Picture yourself climbing a steep mountain alone, carrying a heavy backpack. You might be able to make progress on your own for a while, but eventually the weight begins to wear you down. Now, imagine shifting from the orange mindset to the green mindset, one that focuses on empathy, connection, and community support. Instead of pushing forward alone, you start to notice the other climbers around you, each with their own load to carry. By connecting with others, you find ways to share the weight, offering a hand when someone else stumbles, and accepting help when you need it too. The climb doesn't become easier because the mountain has changed. It becomes easier because you're no longer climbing it alone. This is the essence of collective resilience, the recognition that our struggles can actually strengthen us when we face them together. Expanding the insight. When we embrace a green mindset, we tap into a deeper well of strength, one that comes from shared experiences and mutual support. It's like moving from a solo performance to joining a choir. Alone, your voice might be strong, but together, the harmony created is far richer and more powerful. This mindset shift invites us to stop asking, "How can I get through this?" and start asking, "Who can I connect with?" It's a subtle change, but it transforms the way we experience adversity. Instead of feeling isolated and overwhelmed, we start to feel supported and connected, knowing we're part of a larger network of resilience. One of our listeners, Mike, shared a profound experience that perfectly illustrates this shift. Mike had been working at a company for over a decade when he was suddenly laid off. It hit him like a ton of bricks. He felt disoriented, scared, and utterly alone. In the beginning, he tackled the situation with an orange mindset, determined to power through and figure it out on his own. He polished his resume, applied to dozens of jobs, and tried to stay positive. But the weight of uncertainty kept pulling him down. It was exhausting, and he started to lose hope. Then something shifted. On a whim, Mike decided to open up about his struggle during a conversation with an old friend. To his surprise, his friend didn't just listen. They shared their own story of a similar setback and offered to connect Mike with someone in their network. This simple act of vulnerability set off a chain reaction. Mike began to share his experience more openly, and each time, he found people who resonated with his story, offering empathy, advice, and support. Within weeks, he wasn't just feeling better. He was seeing new opportunities he hadn't even considered before. He realized that by leaning into his community, he was tapping into a collective strength far greater than his own individual efforts could ever achieve. Mike's story is a powerful reminder that when we open up about our struggles, we often find that we're not as alone as we thought. And in that shared space, we can find the support we need to move forward. Let's take a moment to think about a challenge you faced recently. It could be something big or small, maybe a project at work that didn't go as planned, a conflict with a loved one, or a goal you just can't seem to reach. What if, instead of viewing this struggle as a roadblock, you chose to see it as an opportunity for connection? Instead of asking yourself, "Why is this happening to me?" try reframing it to, "Who can I share this with? Who might understand what I'm going through?" It's a powerful shift, moving from the orange mindset of individual grit to the green mindset of shared growth. When we invite others into our struggles, we transform isolation into community and pain into a pathway for a deeper connection. This isn't just about asking for help. It's about creating a space where we can all show up authentically, share our stories, and lift each other up. Take a deep breath and pause for a moment. Think about a challenge you're currently facing or one that's been weighing on you lately. It doesn't have to be something monumental. It could be a small but persistent worry or a feeling of uncertainty about what's next. Now, ask yourself, Who in my life could I share this with? Who might offer a fresh perspective or simply be there to listen? Picture the conversation in your mind. Imagine how it might feel to release even a small part of that weight by sharing it with someone you trust. Consider how their insights, their empathy, or even just their presence might help you see your struggle in a new light. Sometimes, the act of voicing our challenges is enough to create a shift, a small opening that allows us to breathe a bit easier. Let's try something together. If it's safe and comfortable for you, close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, imagine releasing the need to carry this struggle on your own. Visualize yourself standing at the base of a tall mountain, feeling the weight of your backpack filled with worries, fears, and stress. Now picture a friend or loved one stepping up beside you, reaching out to help you lift that weight off your shoulders. Feel the relief as the load lightens. Imagine them smiling, giving you a nod of understanding as if to say, "I'm here with you. We've got this." Feel the warmth of their support, like a gentle wave of comfort washing over you, helping you stand a little taller, breathe a little easier. You're no longer facing this alone. You're part of a team, connected by shared experiences and mutual strength. Before we dive into our next story, here's a quick message from our sponsor. They've got some great resources to help you on your journey to wellness. Ever reach down to pick something up and wonder if this is it? Your final resting position? Enter Dr. Lance Labno, our anti-pretzel specialist. He's here to make sure you don't end up twisted like yesterday's yoga mat. With 6-minute reset, he's got stretches to keep you loose, limber, and ready to tackle whatever falls to the floor. Just 6 minutes now, so you're not doing the slow, creaky grandpa lean by age 50. Reach, stretch, and avoid those "help, I'm stuck" calls to the kids. Ready to dodge the pretzel life? Subscribe to 6-Minute Reset on the Resilience Flow Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And let's keep you moving without the need for emergency untwisting. Welcome back. Now let's explore some practical steps you can take to turn adversity into strength. When something goes wrong, our immediate reaction is often frustration or disappointment. It's natural to feel that way. After all, we've invested time, energy, and emotion into our plans. But what if we could hit pause on those feelings and instead choose to see the situation differently? Reframing is a powerful tool that helps us shift our mindset from one of defeat to one of curiosity and growth. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try asking, "What is this experience here to teach me?" This subtle change in language can open up a world of possibilities. For example, if you've missed out on a job opportunity, rather than seeing it as a dead end, look at it as a chance to assess what skills you can improve or what connections you can strengthen. Maybe there's a gap in your knowledge that this setback highlighted, a gap that, once filled, will make you even more qualified for future opportunities. Or perhaps this challenge is steering you in a direction you hadn't considered before, one that could lead to an even better fit for your talents and passions. Think of setbacks as stepping stones. Each one provides a chance to pause, reflect, and adjust your approach. It's like climbing a staircase. The steps might be uneven, and some may even crumble beneath you, but with each adjustment you make, you find a stronger footing. Over time, these small moments of learning compound, building a foundation of resilience and wisdom that can help you tackle even bigger challenges ahead. Remember, it's not the setback itself that defines you, but how you respond to it. By consistently asking, "What can I learn from this?" you transform every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Tip number 2, the power of connection in sharing your struggles. We often underestimate the healing power of simply sharing our challenges with someone we trust. When we're going through a tough time, it's easy to feel like we need to keep it all inside, to tough it out and solve the problem on our own. But here's the thing. Sharing your experience doesn't mean you're looking for someone to fix it for you. It's about creating space for your emotions, giving them room to breathe, and allowing someone else to witness your journey. Next time you're feeling overwhelmed by a problem, try reaching out to a friend, family member, or mentor. You don't need to have a solution ready. You don't even need to explain everything perfectly. Just start by saying, "I've been dealing with something and I'd love to get your perspective." More often than not, the act of putting your thoughts into words helps to lighten the emotional load. It's like emptying a heavy backpack that you've been carrying for too long. You might not realize just how much weight you've been holding onto until you set it down. There's also a beautiful reciprocal benefit to sharing. When you open up about your struggles, it gives others permission to do the same. It creates a ripple effect of vulnerability and connection that strengthens relationships. The simple act of being heard can be incredibly validating, reminding you that you're not alone in what you're going through. This process not only lightens your own burden, but often brings unexpected insights, comfort, and advice from the person you've confided in. By inviting others into your story, you turn a solitary struggle into a shared journey, one that becomes much easier to navigate together. Tip number 3, practicing mindful self-compassion during setbacks. One of the most overlooked yet powerful tools during difficult times is self-compassion. We're often our own harshest critics, especially when things don't go as planned. But what if, instead of beating yourself up over a mistake, you treated yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you'd offer to a close friend? Practicing self-compassion means acknowledging that setbacks are a normal part of life, and that it's okay to feel upset or disappointed. The next time you're faced with a challenge, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Put your hand over your heart and gently say, "This is tough right now, and it's okay to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can." It might sound simple, but this small act of kindness towards yourself can make a big difference. It shifts your inner dialogue from criticism to comfort, helping you find the emotional space to regroup and move forward. This week, let's focus on 2 key shifts: mindset and connection. Each time you find yourself facing a challenge, take a moment to pause and ask, "Who can I share this with?" Then, make a commitment to actually reach out and connect with that person. It could be as simple as sending a text, making a phone call, or scheduling a coffee chat. Notice how this act of connection changes your experience. Do you feel lighter after sharing? Did you gain a new perspective or insight from the conversation? To take this challenge a step further, try keeping a small reflection journal for the week. Each time you share a struggle with someone, jot down a quick note about how it felt and what you learned from the experience. At the end of the week, look back at your notes and see if you can identify any patterns. Did you notice that certain types of challenges were easier to share? Did specific people offer more helpful advice, or simply listen better? Use these insights to guide you in the future, helping you build a network of support that you can lean on when times get tough. Remember, shifting your mindset and reaching out for connection are skills that take time to develop. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. And over time, you'll find that your default response to adversity starts to change. Instead of bracing yourself to face it alone, you'll instinctively look around for the hands reaching out to help, knowing that together, you're stronger. Let's take a moment to reflect on everything we unpacked today. We started by diving into the concept of adversity, reframing it not as something that derails our lives, but as a vital part of our growth process. We explored the metaphor of storms, how the rain that initially feels destructive is actually what nourishes our deepest roots, giving us the strength to grow even taller and more resilient. This shift in perspective is at the heart of today's core message, that our struggles, rather than setbacks, are setups for transformation. We then introduced 2 powerful frameworks to help guide our understanding: spiral dynamics and integral theory. Spiral dynamics gave us a roadmap for human development, highlighting the journey from an orange mindset focused on individual achievement and self-reliance to a green mindset that emphasizes empathy, shared experiences, and collective healing. We explored how making this shift can turn the weight of our personal struggles into opportunities for connection, allowing us to lean on the strength of our communities. From there, we layered in the insights of integral theory, using it as a holistic map to look at the full spectrum of our experiences. We broke down the lower left quadrant, focusing on the intersubjective realm, the shared cultural values and social support systems that shape how we face challenges. By tapping into this collective empathy, we learned that resilience isn't just an individual trait. It's something we build together, whether it's your closest friend, a supportive family member, or a larger community. Sharing your burden lightens it and opens the door to shared growth. And let's not forget the powerful listener story we heard from Mike. His experience taught us an important lesson. When we stop trying to face everything on our own and start reaching out, we often find support and empathy in unexpected places. Mike's journey from isolation to connection reminded us that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's a gateway to deeper relationships and a stronger sense of purpose. In sum, today's discussion was all about reframing struggles, embracing community, and moving from a mindset of "I can do it alone" to "we're in this together." We discovered how leaning on others, rather than being a sign of weakness, can actually be our greatest strength. The key takeaway is this: no matter what storm you're facing, remember that you don't have to weather it alone. The roots of resilience grow strongest when they're nourished by the rain of shared experiences. And that's a wrap for today. But don't go away just yet, because next week we're diving into a topic I know many of you have been asking about: everyday anchors. We all face moments when life feels chaotic, like a ship tossed around by rough waves. What if I told you there are simple, practical habits you can cultivate that act like anchors, grounding you and giving you stability, even in the most turbulent times? In our next episode, we'll explore the power of tiny, consistent practices that have a big impact on your mental and emotional well-being. From morning routines that set the tone for a peaceful day, to mindfulness exercises you can do in under 5 minutes, to bedtime rituals that help you wind down and sleep better, we're covering it all. These are the small, actionable steps that you can start implementing immediately, no matter where you are on your journey. We'll also dive into the science behind why these habits work, tapping into the principles of habit formation and neuroplasticity. You'll learn how to train your brain to find calm amidst chaos, turning everyday moments into opportunities for mindfulness and reflection. Plus, we'll have another powerful listener story, a tale of someone who found their anchor in an unexpected place, proving that it's often the simplest practices that make the biggest difference. That wraps up today's episode, Spotting the Storm. If you found value in these techniques, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review on Podchaser. Remember, like any storm, mental clouds are temporary. With awareness and practice, you can learn to navigate them. Join me next time as we explore more tools for mental clarity.